Antarctica, often referred to as the White Continent, is a remote and icy landmass at the southernmost part of the Earth. It's a place of extremes, with freezing temperatures, towering ice sheets, and a stunning array of wildlife. While most of us know it as a frozen expanse, there are numerous surprising and lesser-known facts that make Antarctica a true wonder. Let's delve into some of these fascinating discoveries about this remarkable and mysterious continent. Abundant resources. Antarctica, often seen as a frozen and desolate place, holds surprising treasures beneath its icy surface. While exploring this vast land is challenging due to the thick ice cover, valuable resources are hidden here. Imagine this. About 90% of the Earth's freshwater ice is locked within Antarctica, along with 70% of the world's total freshwater. To put it simply, if just one ice sheet were to melt, our oceans would rise by a staggering 16 feet. Currently, Antarctica is mainly used for scientific research rather than commercial activities. However, recent exploration suggests that it might hold significant mineral deposits, especially copper. Some even speculate that large petroleum deposits exist, though this hasn't been confirmed. Back in 1959, a treaty was signed that prevents commercial mining in Antarctica. This decision turned out to be wise, as the continent is home to many unique species that could be harmed by large-scale industrial activities. Moreover, since no single country officially owns Antarctica, allowing commercial ventures could lead to conflicts over land ownership and potentially even spark tensions and conflicts among nations. Elongated skulls. History. The discovery made in 2014 was nothing short of astonishing. 3 elongated skulls were unearthed in the icy reaches of Antarctica. This marked the first instance of human remains being found on this frozen continent. What truly captivated the world about these skulls was their peculiar shape, bearing an uncanny resemblance to elongated skulls previously discovered in places like Egypt, Peru, and other distant locations. The mystery deepens when we consider the origins of these elongated skulls. They acquired their distinctive shape through unconventional practices that were prevalent among certain ancient civilizations. These societies employed various techniques to intentionally modify the skulls of individuals from a young age, resulting in these elongated forms. The significance of this remarkable find is profound. It raises the intriguing possibility of connections between civilizations from different corners of the globe: Africa, South America, and even Antarctica. Could there have been some form of contact or cultural exchange between these civilizations in the ancient past? The discovery of these skulls fuels the imagination and prompts us to reconsider the extent of interactions between ancient societies, transcending geographical boundaries and leaving us with tantalizing questions about our shared human history. Babies of Antarctica. Birth on the frigid expanse of Antarctica, a feat achieved by a select few, bears a remarkable distinction. None of the infants born on this continent have succumbed in infancy. This unique phenomenon has led to an astonishing infant mortality rate of 0%, making Antarctica stand apart from all other continents. The historical narrative traces back to January 7, 1978, when Emilio Marcos Palma etched his name as the first human to be born on this frozen land. Born at the Argentine Army's Esperanza base near the tip of the Antarctic Peninsula, his birth was more than mere happenstance. During that time, a geopolitical contest unfolded between Britain, Chile, and Argentina over sovereignty in Antarctica. A strategy employed to establish authority and claim territorial rights was to populate the land with native-born citizens. Amid this competition, the Chilean dictator Augusto Pinochet orchestrated a momentous event. A pregnant Chilean woman was airlifted to this barren terrain, where she gave birth to a Chilean baby on the Arctic soil. This audacious move to secure territorial claims led to a jest that Chileans were dispatching newlywed couples to their Antarctic base to stake their claim on having the first baby conceived and born within the territory. As history unfolded, this anecdote turned into reality, solidifying Chile's unique status. Today, Chile stands as the sole nation with non-scientific settlements on the South Pole. These outposts, supporting modest populations in the low hundreds, maintain the legacy of this intriguing historical maneuver, a testament to the lengths nations have gone to establish their presence in the inhospitable expanses of Antarctica. Ancient fossils. The revelation that dinosaurs once inhabited Antarctica has reshaped our understanding of this icy realm's distant past. Emerging in the 1980s, this discovery has transformed the narrative, unveiling a world teeming with prehistoric life. Over the decades, dedicated scientists have meticulously unearthed a treasure trove of fossils, collectively weighing almost a ton. These remnants, over 71 million years old, weave a tale of prehistoric birds and marine creatures, including the intriguing mosasaurs and plesiosaurs. Delving into the ancient remnants, scientists paint a vivid picture of a bygone era when dinosaurs roamed a significantly different Antarctica. The concept of dinosaurs thriving in this frozen land is made plausible by the prevailing climatic conditions. In those epochs, temperatures contrasted starkly with the present icy state, fostering an environment conducive to a diverse array of life. This revelation becomes even more intriguing considering that during that time, Antarctica was situated in a radically distinct location, within the southwestern part of the Pacific Ocean. This revelation ignites our imagination, taking us on a journey back 70 to 200 million years, where Antarctic landscapes bustled with life. The remnants of these ancient inhabitants bear testimony to a world far removed from our contemporary understanding, a dynamic Earth where climates shifted, continents wandered, and dinosaurs found an unexpected haven amidst ice and sea. Singing ice. You might not hear it, but the ice covering Antarctica actually makes a sound. It's not something our ears can pick up, but it's there. This discovery of singing ice happened by accident. Scientists were studying different things about how ice behaves. They put 34 special sensors on the Ross ice shelf between 2014 and 2017. When they looked at the data from these sensors, they found something interesting. The top layer of snow on the ice was always moving. This movement created a kind of humming sound. It was like the ice was humming at a frequency of about 5 hertz. Imagine the sound of blowing a flute. That's kind of what it's like. One of the scientists who led the study, Julian Chaput, compared the sound to the noise you hear when a lot of cicada bugs are buzzing around in the trees during late summer. Douglas McHale, another scientist who studies glaciers, described it in a poetic way. He said it's like the buzzing sound that comes from thousands of cicadas when they fill the trees and grasses in summer. The study also found something else interesting. The pitch of this humming sound changes sometimes. One reason is when the shape of the snow dunes changes after big storms. Another change happens after the ice gets warmer due to events like a warming spell in January 2016. With this new knowledge, scientists can now keep an eye on how the surface ice is shifting. They can do this from far away and in real time. This helps them understand more about how stable the ice shelf is. They can also predict when the shelf might start to weaken and collapse. Volcanic activity. You don't usually connect ice and volcanoes, but both of these things are found a lot in Antarctica. In fact, Antarctica has the biggest area of volcanoes on Earth. There are at least 91 different volcanoes there, and most of them are deep beneath the ice. The ice sheet is so thick that the highest volcano is as tall as a famous mountain called the Eiger in Switzerland, which is almost 4,000 meters high. No volcanoes in Antarctica have erupted for more than 2,000 years, but by some calculations, there should have been some activity by now. It's tricky to study volcanoes in Antarctica because the usual ways of looking at them, like their heat and smoke, are hard to measure when they're buried deep under the ice. If one of these volcanoes were to erupt, it could cause problems for the ice sheets in West Antarctica. This could affect the stability of the ice and the glaciers. One of the most active volcanoes there is Mount Erebus. It sticks out above the surface and reaches about 12,400 feet above sea level. It's on Ross Island, which is also home to 3 other volcanoes that aren't active anymore: Mount Terror, Mount Bird, and Mount Terra Nova. Mount Erebus has been active for around 1.3 million years, and it's still showing signs of activity today. Antarctica's Blood Falls. When you hear the name Blood Falls, you might think it's a gruesome waterfall made of blood, but that's not the case. This unique feature is found in the McMurdo Dry valleys. It was actually discovered in 1911 when a group of scientists noticed that a cliff of ice had been stained with a dark red color by a nearby river. They thought that red algae in the area might be causing the water to change color, but they didn't have any solid evidence for this theory. The mystery of blood falls remained unsolved for almost a century. Recently, researchers from the University of Alaska Fairbanks unraveled the true story behind blood falls. The deep red color comes from a mix of oxidized iron and salty water, or brine. This is the same process that gives rusted iron a dark red hue. In simple terms, when iron in salty water comes into contact with oxygen, it oxidizes and turns red. Scientists discovered the real source of the falls by studying the layers of ice from which the river flows. They used a technique called radio echo sounding to image beneath the glacier. What they found was a complex system of subglacial rivers and a subglacial lake filled with iron-rich brine. Unlike pure water, the brine doesn't freeze due to its high salt concentration, so it remains liquid and continues to flow. This flowing brine releases heat as it freezes, melting the ice around it and allowing the rivers to move. The high pressure at the base of the glacier also contributes to lowering the freezing point of water. Factorian Deep. The Factorian Deep, situated about 24,000 feet beneath frigid waters, equivalent to the height of 17 Empire State Buildings stacked on top of each other, has become the new deepest point in the southern ocean of Antarctica. Until recently, its structure remained a mystery to researchers. Discovered in 2019 by American explorer and entrepreneur Victor Vescovo during his expedition to chart the deepest spots in the world's 5 oceans, the Factorian Deep got its name from the submersible he piloted called the Limiting Factor. He reached the bottom of the South Sandwich Trench in the Atlantic Ocean, which crosses the 60th parallel south, revealing this new record-setting point in the Southern Ocean. Since its discovery, the Factorian Deep has been included in a new map detailing the underwater landscape of the Southern Ocean. The International Bathymetric Chart of the Southern Ocean, IBCSO, and the Nippon Foundation's Seabed 2030 project are jointly working to map the entire global seafloor by 2030. To create this map, data from more than 1,200 sonar measurements have been collected. The IBCSO project has encouraged all ships traversing the Southern Ocean to activate their sonars, contributing data to this comprehensive endeavor. The map's coverage spans over 18.5 million square miles of seafloor. By completely mapping the world's seafloor, researchers in biology will gain valuable insights into the locations of undersea features like seamounts, which have long been hubs of marine biodiversity and marine life. A lake buried in the ice. Another enigma awaits in the depths of Antarctica's icy landscapes. A team of 25 explorers embarked on a mission to delve into the mysteries of the subglacial Lake Mercer, only to unveil a hidden body of water. This concealed lake sprawls across approximately 54 square miles under the massive ice sheet. Could this discovery hint at the potential for more advanced life forms within the lake? This prospect remains feasible due to intriguing parallels. Comparable submerged lakes of liquid saltwater have been identified on Mars by the European Space Agency's Mars Express spacecraft. John Priscu, a polar ecology professor at the University of Montana who led the expedition, shares that the ice water samples obtained from Lake Mercer contained around 10,000 bacterial cells per milliliter. While this constitutes a mere 1% of the typical 1 million microbial cells per milliliter found in the open ocean, it is remarkably high for a lightless aquatic body nestled deep beneath an Antarctic glacier. Priscu surmised that the elevated presence of bacterial cells within the concealed lake suggests its potential to sustain more complex life forms, potentially even microscopic creatures like tardigrades. The expedition team employed drills and heated water to create a borehole from their encampment on the West Antarctic ice sheet, situated roughly 370 miles from the South Pole, all the way down to the concealed lake of liquid water. They also utilized a specialized remotely operated underwater vehicle, ROV, and a series of cameras to capture visual documentation of the submerged lake's floor. Interestingly, the exploration unveiled not just one, but numerous submerged lakes scattered across Antarctica. This discovery led the team to speculate that these concealed lakes potentially form a distinct and exceptional ecosystem of their own. To sum it up, Antarctica's surprising revelations have reshaped our perceptions and unveiled a world we never imagined. This frozen land, once thought inhospitable, now holds untold stories waiting to be discovered. As science uncovers more, we're reminded that curiosity knows no bounds. Stay tuned for more intriguing insights. Don't forget to subscribe for the latest updates.